So if we move on to the next question, do you think that crypto could be the future of money in 10 to 20 years? I think that's a very interesting question. Go ahead, Tris. What are your thoughts?
So look, the I'm on the camp that's going to say yes, and in less time, because of the fact of the digital economy moving faster than the traditional economy, right? So we have today two economies, right? You cannot ignore them because they're so visible to us. COVID was a clear way of looking at the physical economy or the traditional economy versus the digital, right? So in COVID, if you were in a country where no one could leave the house, only essential workers, right? Um, those that stayed home, the same way as remote work, could not consume unless they were part of the digital economy. Being part of the digital economy, you had to be a banked person. You had to have a debit card or a credit card or a bank account to connect to a wallet that allowed you to order online and get goods and services. What about the half of the world that does not have that and could not leave? So that means we have a digital economy moving faster, which more and more is becoming prominent, it's becoming important, and we are leaving behind a traditional economy. Now, what's in the traditional economy is the current form of money. In the digital economy is e-money. More and more, potentially cryptocurrencies, digital assets. We've got to find a way, and so that's one indicator. The second indicator is we're not doing well. We're in a financial crisis, which is the fourth industrial revolution. It's not about a labor crisis, as I said, like the first and second and third industrial revolution. The fourth industrial revolution is seen as a financial crisis because we're suffering financially. We're not sustaining the economic growth based on the form of money and where the opportunity is in the informal economy. So again, this is not easy. It's not hard to figure out that the only way to push the digital economy forward is to change the form of money. And governments know this, central banks know this, right? And so the rise of digital currencies has to do with economic growth, a financial situation which is very harsh, that the picture is not good, um, and this digital economy that must include everyone, cannot exclude half of the world. So the only answer to your question and the only answer to all of these dimensions that I mentioned is money has to change forms. Now, does the adoption happen within 5 years, 10 years? Of course, look, I mean, it takes a while for adoption to happen. You have to have incentives. If incentives are created immediately and people know that a digital peso can buy you 4 times more than a physical peso, adoption is going to happen, right? But who's going to give you that? The ministries of finance have to come up with the right tax brackets for digital money for small businesses to accept them. And consumers have not only to be included, but also have to have that kind of incentive. So when they go buy, they're not told, hey, if you pay me in cash, I'll give you a discount. So you gotta have the right incentives. And economies like China, economies like India, they already live in this, right? Not only that the cash is disappearing, but more and more now digital assets are becoming more and more used because of the incentives that they have. So something to watch for the next 5 years as we build infrastructure, and then another maybe 5 to 10 years after that for adoption. But we should be there as part of an overall digital economy evolution.
Yeah, I'm on your team for sure. I think the same. I think what we've seen in the past 3 years, I think was just a fast forward. It was like a evolution of money on steroids a little bit because of what happened, because of the pandemic, and because of how the entire world money ecosystem had to adapt quickly, especially when payments were concerned. So it's we've definitely, I think we're going to be able to say hopefully to our grandchildren, if we are blessed with them, that we lived through it, and it's just like I remember you and I having a discussion at one point in time how revolutionary the credit card was. Paying with plastic. I mean, that in itself was an absolute revolution at that point in time. Yeah. So we are now living through, the ATM, the other, huge sort of, a game changer in for banks. So yeah, I agree with you. I do think the future of money is definitely going to change.